What's up, my fit disciples? I'm so glad to see you, or not see you because I can't see you, but you can see me. I'm so glad that you can see my face in another video. So, this is our motel room. I've never shot a video in our motel room while we are going through this particular season of life. Partially because I don't know, it took a lot of pride. I mean, not pride, but it took a lot of humility for me to invite you guys into this space. Like, I've spoken about it, and God has been really like breaking down my ego and my pride and trying to humble me to share what we're going through right now. You know, we've been homeless since January 5th. I believe we are in April the 27th. So it's been almost 4 months. We're almost there. But I will say God has been faithful. And that's the emphasis of this video. During this season of homelessness, we have experienced legitimately the provision of God. We have not lacked a roof over our head. We have not lacked food to eat. At times, we got close to the point where we would begin sleeping in our car and some other options that may not have been as convenient or comfortable, but we have been maintained by the presence and the provision of God. And during this season, what's really been checked in our hearts and in our lives has been our belief and trust in God. Prior to this season, God had commanded us to do a bunch of stuff. Me, in particular, being on YouTube and investing my energy in really building a social media platform and a social media ministry that I'm still working out what it looks like and the angle He wants me to take and approach. But I don't really think that was God's plan anyway. I think sometimes He sends us on journeys where we will learn what it's going to look like as we go. Abram didn't necessarily know what the promised land would look like. He didn't know how he was going to get a child. He didn't know the process or the methods on which he was going to receive a lot of the things that he received in his life. And so God sometimes will send us into journeys where we don't necessarily know what things are going to look like or how things are going to turn out. He just wants us to go. And I think that the thing that we were dealing with before we ended up in this particular predicament has been the area of unbelief. We were struggling to believe what God had called each of us to do. My wife was called to start a business, to pursue entrepreneurship, and there was doubt in that. And for me, it was more diving into social media ministry, diving into presenting myself as a preacher in general, and maybe walking away from the traditional jobs that I was working at the time. A lot of unbelief and doubt was in all of that. But during this season of wilderness, we have learned that God is a provider, that God will take care of His people. God will take care of our worries and our fears. He will not just leave us carrying the weight of the journey that we're on. He will actually provide for us. And what I want to emphasize, and I referenced it in another video, if you can go back and watch, I don't remember what video it was, but I referenced in another video that God's miracles, God's provisions, where it is supernaturally provided, we cannot explain how we got it. We cannot explain how we received it. People receiving words from the Lord to give us and sow into us and provide for us. The Lord moving the hearts of people after we've told our testimony, expressed where we are, people giving to us, randomly out of nowhere, has been God's supernatural provision. But God's miracles are given so that we would believe and so that our faith would increase. Everything that we experience in our journeys with God is for us to believe Him, is for us to experience the stretching, the forming, the molding, and the building of our faith. If we were to look at the signs and the miracles of God and still not believe, we would be no different than the Pharisees. Because the Pharisees were asking for signs from Jesus, not so that they could believe, But so I guess Jesus could just perform for them, because I don't think they were going to believe either way, because, you know, they didn't want him to be the Messiah, or they wanted the Messiah to appear a different way, and a whole host of other reasons. But when God does a miracle, when Jesus did miracles, it was so people would believe that he is who he appeared to be, that he is who he said he is. And that is our journey of faith, that even though we are in a rough season, we are in a wilderness season, God's manna, God's water from a rock, God's supernatural provision is so that he could remind us that he is with us, so that we wouldn't feel like we were alone in this. So we wouldn't feel like we're crazy and we lost our mind, and maybe I shouldn't have quit my job. Maybe I should have just kept things the way they were. Maybe I should have just handled things the way I should just have handled them. And don't get me wrong, there are things on this journey that we're paying the consequences for. Moments of unbelief and moments of irresponsibility that we're paying the consequences for. But we are going. Abram wasn't perfect. No person in the Bible was perfect, but God was perfect and faithful and consistent. And that is what we're learning in this journey, that even though we're going through what we're going through, God is always consistent, and he's always going to express, I'm with you. I'm there with you. I will never leave you or forsake you. Don't worry about it. Don't stress yourself. And I want to encourage you to pay attention to the miracles that take place in your life, the things that you cannot explain, that no human can explain. Yeah, it can be given through a human, where somebody sows finances into you, but they were moved by God to do that. They were moved by God to sow into you. That is a miracle. When you needed it, God gave it. When you needed it, God sent someone. When you needed it, God provided a way for you to get what you need. And that is a miracle. And every miracle we experience is so that our faith and our belief and our trust in God would increase. And so we don't live our lives the way we used to live them, on self-reliance and self-dependence. So I just wanted to share that what we're learning in this journey is that God is faithful. God is worthy to be trusted. That is a phrase that I've been repeating a lot. At least not in the open. I say it sometimes in prayer or in front of people, but God is truly worthy to be trusted. He is the only being in the universe who is worthy to be trusted completely and totally. You could literally stake your life on God. You could literally place your life in the hands of God, knowing that whatever happens to you in this life, even if it comes in death, he will raise you up again. That is the offer that Jesus provides, that if I put my total trust and faith in him, even if I die, I will live. That's how worthy our God is to be trusted. So I just want to encourage you, whatever journey you're on, whatever you're going through, whatever you're dealing with, trust the Lord. Trust his provision, trust his protection, trust his grace, trust his love, because he will never leave you nor forsake you. If this video encouraged you, if you were blessed by it, please share it, like it, leave a comment for me so I can go back and see if you were encouraged, because I love getting those encouraging comments. But share this video with anybody you think needs it. And I love you. God bless you. Keep your faith.